You know that feeling when everyone around you is doing something, and you start questioning if maybe you're the weird one for not wanting it too? Here's a darker question. What if the thing everyone calls the most natural decision in the world is actually a trap? What if bringing children into existence isn't the beautiful, meaningful act we've been sold, but something far more uncomfortable to admit? There's a philosopher who dared to say what nobody wants to hear, that having kids might be the most irrational thing you can do. And before you click away thinking this is just edgy nonsense, hear me out. Because once you see what he saw, you can't unsee it. Arthur Schopenhauer was a 19th century German philosopher who basically looked at life and said, yeah, this is suffering. But he wasn't just being dramatic. He built an entire philosophy around a simple but devastating observation. Life is fundamentally characterized by pain, desire, and dissatisfaction. And if that's true, then bringing someone new into this world isn't an act of love, it's an act of condemning them to the same cycle of suffering you're already trapped in. Now, I know what you're thinking, this sounds incredibly dark, maybe even cruel, but here's why this matters today more than ever. We live in a time where everyone's expected to follow a script. Grow up, get educated, find a career, settle down, have kids. It's the default setting. And if you deviate from it, people look at you like something's broken inside you. But what if the script itself is the problem? What if we've been so conditioned to see parenthood as the ultimate purpose that we never stopped to ask the hard questions? Questions like, am I having kids because I genuinely want to, or because I'm terrified of what my life means without them? Am I bringing a child into the world to love them, or to fill a void in myself? Schopenhauer forces us to confront something uncomfortable that maybe, just maybe, we've been lying to ourselves about why we do this. And in a world obsessed with meaning, purpose, and legacy, his ideas cut right through the fairy tale and expose the machinery underneath. The disappearing self. Let's start with something nobody talks about at baby showers. The moment you become a parent, you stop being you. I don't mean in some poetic, like, you grow as a person way. I mean your actual identity, the things that made you you, starts evaporating. Think about it. You had hobbies, right? Passions. Maybe you painted, or played guitar, or spent Saturday mornings at that coffee shop writing. Where does all that go when there's a screaming infant at 3 a.m.? It doesn't go on pause, it just disappears. And here's the thing nobody admits, you don't even notice it happening. One day you wake up and realize you can't remember the last time you did something just for yourself. Society calls this sacrifice. We glorify it. We say, that's what good parents do. They give up everything for their kids. But let's be honest about what we're really celebrating. We're applauding the erasure of a human being. We're cheering as someone's dreams, ambitions, and sense of self get fed into a machine that spits out responsibility and duty instead. And the cruelest part? You're not allowed to complain about it. If you even hint at missing your old life, people look at you like you're a monster. But you have a child. How can you be unhappy? As if creating a new life somehow makes you immune to the suffocation of losing your own. Love or obligation? Here's where it gets even messier. We're told that parental love is the purest form of love. Unconditional, selfless, beautiful. But is it really love when it comes with a contract you can't break? Think about every other relationship in your life. Friends? You can walk away if it's toxic. Romantic partner? You can break up. But a child? You're locked in. For at least 18 years, and let's be real, it's usually way longer than that. So when we call that love, what are we actually talking about? Is it love or is it obligation wrapped in a bow? Real love should be free. It should be a choice you make every day because you genuinely want to, not because society will crucify you if you don't. But with kids, love gets tangled up with duty, guilt and this crushing weight of you brought them here, now you have to deal with it. And that mixture, love plus obligation plus guilt, that's not beautiful. That's toxic. And here's what nobody wants to admit, that toxicity breeds resentment. Not always, sure, but often enough that we should talk about it. There are parents who look at their kids and feel trapped, who wonder what their life could have been, who smile for the photos but cry in the shower. And we pretend those people don't exist because acknowledging them would shatter the fairy tale. Running from the void. Now let's talk about the real reason many people have kids, not the reason they'll tell you at dinner parties, but the truth they barely admit to themselves. They're terrified of meaninglessness. Existential dread is real. That feeling when you're lying in bed at night thinking, what's the point of any of this? It's uncomfortable as hell. And having a child, that's the perfect escape hatch. Suddenly, you have purpose. You have to feed them, clothe them, get them to school. Your life has structure, meaning, direction. But here's the uncomfortable question. Is that really meaning, or is that just distraction? Because if you need another human being to give your life purpose, what does that say about the foundation you've built? You're basically outsourcing your existential crisis to a kid who didn't ask to be your therapy animal. And that's not fair to either of you. Schopenhauer understood this. He saw that people confuse biological urges with profound purpose. Nature tricks you with hormones and instincts, makes you think you're doing something meaningful when really you're just perpetuating the cycle. And the cycle isn't beautiful, it's a hamster wheel. Suffering creates more suffering. Pain begets pain. The perfect control mechanism. Here's something that'll make you uncomfortable. Having children isn't just a personal choice, it's a social control mechanism, and it works perfectly. Think about someone without kids. They can take risks, quit their job and travel, move to a new city on a whim, challenge authority, rebel. They're dangerous to the system because they're free. Now think about someone with kids. They need stability, a steady paycheck, health insurance. They can't afford to rock the boat because they have mouths to feed. Suddenly, they're predictable, obedient, controlled. The system loves parents because parents are easy to domesticate. You want them to work longer hours? Dangle doing it for your family in front of them. You want them to avoid political activism? Remind them they have responsibilities. Want them to stay in line? Just mention their children's future. And the genius of it is that we don't even see it as control. We see it as love, as maturity, as growing up. But maybe growing up is just another word for giving up. The inheritance nobody talks about. Here's the final piece that ties everything together, and it's probably the most disturbing one. When you have a child, you don't just pass on your genes, you pass on your trauma. Every unresolved issue you have, every fear, insecurity, and emotional wound, your kid inherits that. Not genetically, but psychologically. They absorb it like a sponge. They learn your anxiety. They mirror your pain. They carry burdens that were never theirs to carry. And here's the tragic pattern. You probably inherited your trauma from your parents, who inherited it from theirs. It's a chain of wounds stretching back generations. And every time someone has a child thinking, this time will be different, they're usually just adding another link to that chain. Because here's the truth nobody wants to face. You can't give someone else what you don't have yourself. If you haven't found peace, you can't give your child peace. If you haven't healed your wounds, you'll pass them on. And then that child grows up, has their own kids, and the cycle continues. Schopenhauer would say this is the ultimate tragedy. We keep multiplying suffering, generation after generation, calling it love, calling it purpose, when really it's just an endless echo of pain that we're too afraid to stop. So where does this leave us? Look, I'm not telling you whether to have kids or not. That's your call. But what I am saying is this. Question the script.
Don't sleepwalk into one of the biggest decisions of your life just because everyone else is doing it. Ask yourself the hard questions. Why do I really want this? Am I running towards something or away from something? Can I handle the truth of what I'm signing up for? Because the most dangerous lies aren't the ones other people tell you. They're the ones you tell yourself. And if you can be honest, brutally honest about your motivations, then whatever you decide will at least be real. If this video made you think, even if it made you uncomfortable, that's exactly the point. Hit that like button, not because you agree with everything, but because these conversations matter. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one assumption about parenthood you've never questioned before? And if you want more content that challenges the comfortable lies we tell ourselves, subscribe, because I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to make you think. Now go question everything.